Hey guys, welcome to the vlog. Millian here with you, M-I-L-L-I-A-N. Thanks for joining me. I am your ministry, firebrand, iconoclast, provocateur, and resident heretic, as I've been told by many. But I don't care, because only one opinion matters. That's his. Oh yeah. Welcome to the vlog, guys. Thanks for hanging out with me today. So I wanted to share with you a couple quick things from experience in the field, and just to encourage you, as I like to do, and to give you just a little bit of insight should it help you in the future. Now, if you're in healing ministry, without a doubt at some point you are going to be in a hospital. Not as a patient, but you're going to be there to minister and go pray for people, and in a lot of cases talk with the families. That's a huge thing. So yesterday we had a whole series of calls. There was potentially 4 things that needed our attention, and one of them we couldn't schedule in time because it was at a house visit as opposed to the hospital. But I got several calls, and there was a lot of sick children whose parents requested prayer, and we scheduled our time and we went out there. Now, I live in Las Vegas, and Las Vegas is basically, we don't have suburbs. We're just one gigantic city. But we do have kind of suburbs, I should say. Way south of here is a city called Henderson. It's like maybe 30, 40 minutes south of where I'm at. And why anybody would live there, I don't know, but that's, I'll let you figure that out. But anyway, we have always seemed to get calls from Henderson, and we always seem to have to go away and travel all over the place. So if you're going to be in healing ministry, just get ready to travel. You're going to have to be driving around a lot, going to different places. Be ready for it. So we went down to Henderson, and I prayed for a young girl who has a brain situation, and prognosis was kind of touchy, I should say, because as of now that we prayed for her, I think she's going to be fine. What was interesting was we had a mother, a father, 2 children, and then there was someone that was staying with the family as well. So there were 5 people. And I went there to pray for the young lady. And what happened at that point was not only was I started basically ministering to her, but I started with prophetic word as opposed to just prayer. And as I started doing that, it was really interesting how you could see the whole kind of tone of the room change, because the family was really needing to hear something. They needed some encouragement in that sense. And so I prayed for the young lady, and then I worked my way through to the mother, and then to the dad, and then to the son, and then the other the house guest that was staying with him at the time. And what was really interesting is when I first got there, the dad was, you could tell poor guy was stressed. I mean, you know, sick children, it's obvious, you know, you're going to go through something like that. But he was very, I don't want to say standoffish, but he was very, you know, just, he said he wanted prayer, but he's like, I'll just take wisdom and just to know what to do. And I'm like, bro, no. Let me handle that. I'll decide what to pray for you. It'll work. And a super nice guy, so, you know, please understand that. And what was really interesting is that out of everybody there, he was the one who got the most accurate prophetic word, and he was the one who had the most prominent healing. He had a back situation, and right on the spot, his back pain left. And he was just stunned that could happen. He also had a bit of a hand injury, but I got a word for him that was more he needed to rest. So I did pray for it, but I told him, I said, you got to rest that and stop doing work. That's why it's hurting so bad. And that's kind of how we did that. So when you deal with that, you're going to go somewhere, especially if it's a child, you're going to deal with parents, obviously, or guardians, whatever the case may be. And not only are they going to be somewhat protective, as they should be, but you're also going to have cases where they need prayer just as much as the child does. Because when a child is going through something, the parents obviously are stressed and they're worried, and there's fear and anxiety, and those are all things of the enemy that we have to come up against to keep them strong. So when you go to these situations, just be ready, because what you kind of think in your mind isn't always what happens. And when I did a hospital visit earlier in the week, last week, and I took someone with me she was on her first hospital visit. I've been training her in our ministry, and she went out with me, and she's like, I don't know how to prepare. I don't know what to do. And I said, you're not going to prepare for this. I said, you know, in your mind, you can rehearse what certain healings or resurrections or whatever it is you want to pray for, deliverance. Rehearse it in your mind how you want to do it, because that's kind of like a form of practice. You know, as a man believes in his heart, so he is. You know, things that go on in your mind are equal to real. You know, Jesus said that. But when you're in the actual situation, it's going to be probably a lot different than you expect. And that's okay, because nothing took Jesus by surprise. Whatever came in front of him, he just handled on the spot. And that's how you have to approach a lot of these situations. So if you're going to go into a hospital or someone's home or anything like this, just be cool is the best way I tell everybody. Just be cool. Because when something presents itself, you handle it right there in real time at the moment. And you'll be surprised. If you kind of get out of the soul thinking and kind of let your spirit guide everything, you'll know what to do. You'll know how to handle it right there on the spot. So anyway, I prayed for this family, gave everybody there a nice prophetic word, prayed for everybody for healing and a general blessing. Someone needed a financial thing, so we prayed for all that. And when it was all over, you could just see on their faces, they were just peaceful and they were happy. And it was really nice. And I had another person who I've trained with ministry. She's since moved away, but she wanted to be on the phone. So we got her on speakerphone and she was giving prophetic words. It was really neat. And then after I was done there, I drove up to another hospital in our area, so it was about another half hour away, no, about 20 minutes away. And there was this boy who is coming up on 2 years old, and he has a cancer situation where he was basically born with a brain tumor. It didn't develop until he was about a little over a year, I guess. And I forgot how long they told me it was, because I went to pray for them way back when. He's been going through treatments and all that stuff, and he's been doing very well. And then he spiked a fever, and they believed it was an infection and all that stuff, and had to go in the hospital for about a week doing like MRIs and cultures and scans. So what was really cool is when I told you the woman I was training, she came along with us. She got to witness her first miracle in that situation, because this boy had a foot that was kind of curved inward, and it was just something that started developing as he was growing up. And the family pointed that out, and I said, well, let's pray for it. Let's see what happens. So we prayed for his foot to straighten out, and guess what? It did. So his foot, and I also prayed for his leg to kind of straighten out because he was a little kind of off-centered, which was a little strange, but, whatever. But we got it done. So she got to witness that. And the family, who's been going through this for about a year now, they got a real boost of faith because they saw that and they were stunned that this could happen. And they're like, wow, how could that happen? How does that work? And I say, you know what? The kingdom makes no sense, in case you haven't picked up on that. If you try to reason out and think how the kingdom works, it just doesn't work. This is why faith is so important. You just got to go. Just trust me. I basically said, look, it's straightened out. Who cares? Let's not figure it out. That's what we wanted. That's what we got. And it was great. So, as I was out yesterday, I did a quick flyby at the hospital to check in on him. And little baby's MRI, his brain came up clear, and his spine's looking good. They said there was no further progress of the illness, so that's, from what I'm told, that's a good sign. So I believe he's going home in about 2 or 3 days. They're doing some cultures to test, and they're waiting for results, so he has to stay nearby. But that was kind of cool. So after that, now this started at like early in the afternoon, now it's going into the evening. Now I go to a whole second hospital that's further away from there. And my wife was over at Target, and she started a conversation with a woman who was with her son in the hospital, and she took a break and she went across the street to the Target just to, I guess, clear her mind out a little bit. She ran into Lynn, and they started praying. So Lynn and my 5-year-old son, Ian, they started praying together in Target with this lady. The people at Target didn't like it, but that's their problem, not mine. And then she requested a visit for her son, who was 60 years old, and he was in the hospital from, I believe it was an incident involving drugs and alcohol, and he started having heart and lung problems from it. So he was no bueno. So she just said, could you stop over? He would appreciate it. Well, he didn't appreciate it. When you're in ministry, not everybody's going to be receptive to it. So I went in there, talked to him for a couple seconds, told him who I was, what I did, said I met your mom, and she said you may want to visit. And he's like, no, thank you, I'm okay. I'm like, okay, can I get you anything? I get you food, a drink, would you like anything? No, I'm okay, thank you. All right, have a good night. And that was it, and I walked out. So when you're going to go out into the field and do this, especially with hospital visits, you're going to see a little of everything. Don't be surprised by what you see. Don't let anything take you off guard. There's going to be times where who you go to pray for is not necessarily the one who needs it the most. And sometimes that happens. There's going to be times where you just sit and talk with the family as opposed to just big old, fiery ministry, glory filling the room, orange light coming out of things. It's not always going to be like that. There's a lot of hurry up and wait. There's a lot of sitting around. There's a lot of talking, especially if doctors or nurses are coming and doing their thing. So you have to have a little patience with that. And furthermore, there's going to be people that flat out reject you. So this yesterday was a little cross-section of all that. And you know what? You be polite, you say thank you, and go on your way. That's all you can do. So you can't feed someone that's not hungry. It's unfortunate, but it's just the way it is. So I just wanted to share that with you quickly to just give you an insight into what to expect when you go hit the field in ministry, not to be surprised by anything, and to really focus on operating out of faith as opposed to trying to reason and prepare. You already have inside of you the Holy Spirit who basically knows everything. And when you're listening and when you're operating out of that spirit, you'll know what to do. So be cool, be in the situation, and serve whatever the need is and whatever may arise, So you do that, you're going to be all right. So I bless you guys. Thanks for checking out on this vlog with me. Thanks for hanging with me. Anytime, check out dominionfire.com, at Healing Minister on Twitter, and facebook.com/dominionfire. And of course, this YouTube thing, please hit the subscribe button so you can hang for more of my pearls of wisdom, which I don't know if they're pearls and I don't know if they're wisdom, but if you could use it, by all means do so. All right, Million signing off. Boom goes Yeshua. See you next time.